He blended in well. Among the bustling crowds and towering structures, he was just another face. His disguise was impeccable. No one would suspect that beneath the human facade resided a being from a distant star system. His name, though unpronounceable in human tongue, roughly translated to observer. And observe he did every minute detail of this peculiar planet they called Earth. Observer had come to Earth with a mission of peace. His people, known for their wisdom and compassion, had long been fascinated by the vibrant life teeming on this blue planet. They had watched, through their advanced technology, as humanity took its first steps towards civilization. They had hoped that humans would prove to be worthy custodians of their remarkable world. Years passed. Observer, flawlessly mimicking human behavior, roamed the concrete jungles they called cities. He watched them in their natural habitat. He learned their customs, spoke their languages, even grew accustomed to their strange, often pungent cuisine. But with each passing day, a creeping sense of disillusionment began to gnaw at him. Observer was not alone. He was part of a small reconnaissance team, their mission to study and learn from Earth. The other team members, disguised as animals, moved among the non-human population. They were the ones who truly opened Observer's eyes to the dark side of humanity. The reports from his team were disturbing. They spoke of forests razed to the ground, rivers choked with waste, and the air thick with noxious fumes. The creatures of the land, the air and the sea were being systematically eradicated, hunted for their skins, their tusks, their very existence, their habitats destroyed, their populations decimated. Observer watched in horror as humans exploited and abused the very planet that gave them life. They seemed oblivious to the suffering they inflicted, blind to the interconnectedness of all living things. The cruelty he witnessed shook him to his core. Was this the true nature of humanity? He thought of his own world, where harmony and respect for all life were paramount. The mere thought of inflicting such pain on another living being was anathema. The contrast was stark, the disappointment profound. Observer felt a surge of anger. This was not the future his people had envisioned for Earth. This was not the legacy they had hoped for. This was a betrayal, a cosmic injustice that demanded rectification. The plan was audacious, risky, and utterly antithetical to everything Observer's people stood for. But the situation called for drastic measures. He would unleash the one thing humans feared most, the unknown. He would use their own technology, their own weapons against them. Observer would orchestrate a global blackout, plunging the planet into chaos. He would cripple their communication systems, their power grids, their transportation networks. He would sow the seeds of panic and fear, turning their own cities against them. And then, when they were at their most vulnerable, he would strike. He would use his advanced technology to seize control of their weapons systems, their satellites, their very infrastructure. Humanity would become enslaved on its own planet, forced to atone for its sins. The thought of subjugating an entire species filled Observer with a deep sense of unease. But he believed it was a necessary evil, a harsh lesson they were destined to learn. They had treated the planet and its inhabitants with contempt. Now they would face the consequences. As Observer put his plan into motion, a sliver of doubt lingered in his mind. Was there nothing that could be done to avert this catastrophic course of action? Was there no hope for redemption? Deep down, he yearned for an alternative, a sign that humanity was capable of change. He knew that somewhere within the heart of humanity, buried beneath layers of greed and indifference, lay the seeds of compassion. He had seen glimpses of it, fleeting moments of kindness and empathy that gave him pause. A child rescuing a stranded bird, a community rallying to protect a local park, a scientist dedicating their life to conservation. These acts, though seemingly insignificant, gave him a glimmer of hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, it wasn't too late. Perhaps there was still time for humanity to change its ways, to choose a different path. But the clock was ticking and the fate of Earth hung precariously in the balance.